today, Alyssa and Adam from Phantom stopped by. Thank you for coming and hanging out. Julia, if you're listening or watching, I appreciate you hooking this up because
yes, thank you, Julia.
Dude, these tunes are bomb, and
thanks, man.
we can get right into it. Especially from being in Philadelphia, I've never heard the band before. It's not relatively new. You guys were on a 3-year hiatus for a little bit.
True.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
So what, like, not getting into specific details, but was it the pandemic that kind of like brought things back together in a way, or?
It's like a yes and no, right?
Yeah. Go ahead, Adam.
No, go ahead. Yeah, you take it.
We had gotten back together, played a few shows, started the band back up, and the pandemic hit. We just always get a shitty hand, man.
We sold out Ortlieb's, and then we played the Fillmore Foundry, and that was sold out. And then literally like 3 days later, it was like full on pandemic.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And it stopped like everything we had planned. So it was like a bummer, but it is what it is.
Yeah, maybe it could have been a blessing in disguise. Yeah, especially when you're selling out the Fillmore. You know, that's a massive venue. I think that the cap room's like a little over 500-600 people, I think. I can't remember. I've only been there once.
I think it was like 520 or something like that.
That seems relatively close. And Adam, you were saying off the record, like, dude, you're from California? Like, you're living in California, but are you there originally? Because essentially the band's from Philadelphia, right?
Yeah. No, I lived in New Hope, Pennsylvania forever. And then, and then I moved out to California. And, like, we discussed this as a band. And, like, we're like, oh, I think it's going to be great. And, like, you know, so far it's actually been awesome. So, you know, where do you want to take that, Alyssa?
No, I mean, what the hell else are we doing? We can't practice anyway. We're not playing shows. It's kind of cool to I've never been to California up until Adam had moved out there, and with the studio session booked and everything, and that was my first time back in November, you know, and this is kind of in the the nitty gritty of this pandemic, and I think we kind of kept rolling because we had this serious drive to get back and playing shows and this urge to put out new music. And it's just when it comes to a halt, we kind of just kept going, and it just by chance that all this happened. And unfortunately, this is obviously terrible what happened. And but I think we just kept rolling with it, and we had a lot to say as a band. Because we were kind of vacant for 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Right. We just want to get back to where we were, you know?
Yeah. So this kind of bought us a lot of time, and and I think we thought a lot about next moves, and I think we went through the ringer with this band. And I think just Adam alone, moving to LA, it kind of set this fire under our asses where it's just let's go now. Let's go.
It's time.
It's time.
No, that's good. No, you found that specific spark that kind of just lit the fire, and it's you know what?
Oh,
we
yeah.
gotta keep going. Now is our time to do something like that. Especially, I mean, dude, some hard hitters that you're doing, working with, and all this such. Dude, Courtney Ballard is a massive producer out in California, and if people don't know of his work, I mean, he's done Water Parks. He did Pink Elephant by Stan Atlantic, which is one of my top 5 albums of 2020, and the names just go on, dude. So
I mean, 5 Seconds to Summer, and Jessie J, and
dude.
It's
the Peach Club,
low,
Peach Club, Emarosa, man.
Yeah, so it's safe to say Phantoms is not fucking around. You guys are really hitting the nail on the head with that one. What came to a decision? I mean, have you worked with him previously, in a sense, or?
Honestly, the other guitar player, Macau, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, I was like, yo, if you could go to any producer, who would it be? He said Courtney Ballard. So I hit up his management. I actually hit him up personally, and he was like, yeah, I love the band, your singer's got pipes. And then he set it up with his management, and that was it. And we were there for, I think, 2 weeks total. And we split it up. It was 1 week at a time. So, and we just did a 5-song EP with him. And it's honestly, dude, it's the best stuff we've ever done. And it's so fresh. And it's just everything we love about music. in these songs. So we're really excited about it.
No, that's fantastic. Are you taking kind of some old roots from the singles that you've released over the couple years into this EP, or are you kind of experimenting with what the evolution of Phantoms is becoming?
I'm gonna let Alyssa take that one there.
Let's just rewind back to 2015 when we started as a band. I was already playing in a project, and I met Adam through a Facebook message. Essentially, my cousin was at a thing one night, and she was just like, "You have to hit this kid up. He's looking for a singer for this band. Like, you got to get on board with him." And I was like, "Okay, cool." Like, and I woke up to this message from this kid, and I'm like, "Whoa!" Like, this kid's coming in like hot fire, man. Like, what's going on? And so he was basically like, "Listen, I have studio time booked. Like, I don't have a singer for this band that I'm in." Like,
oh no, I did have a singer.
Oh, you did have a singer, yeah.
But I didn't like it.
Yeah, you didn't like it. Yeah. So they had already had time booked at the studio for 2 weeks at Voodoo. And he was like, "Let's get together. I want to see what you got. Just forwarded me an instrumental." And I started writing to it. And that was one of the first songs we had put out. The entire album, Phantoms, that we recorded at Voodoo, was an instrumental that I just wrote in a matter of weeks. So this new stuff is essentially like this band in full effect for once. You know what I mean? Like,
and that
we wrote it as a band.
Out.
Yeah,
that record didn't even come out. So,
dude, that's wild. Crazy. I'm stoked for it. I mean, considering the fact that the one recent acoustic single you had, Carabelle, is that I'm pronouncing that correctly? Yeah, dude, yes. Like that also hit 100,000 views over YouTube and such. So I mean, the quality and the well-rounded structure of the writing of the music is there. It's just wow, like what like I'm sure you have some kind of PR plan to like really put that out there and like market it a certain way and such, if that hasn't already been thought out in a way.
Oh yeah, that's all. Like, I mean, we're shooting a video. What's the first week of July?
The 12th. Yeah.
The 12th. Yeah. I guess that's the second week. Well, we're shooting a video for this new single, and I'm gonna drop the name. It's gonna be called Paper Flowers, and I sent it to you.
Yeah,
and we're shooting a
really
music.
Fucking good.
Awesome, man. Thanks. So we're shooting the music video for that, and then there's just gonna be like this. We're working with some people on like how we're gonna roll that out, and what is it? I think we're looking at August or something, or like maybe
August.
Yeah, early August, I think. End of July.
Release? Yeah. End of July would be ideal, but just, let's see.
I keep getting that wrong, but
and that's just the thing right now. It's just like, man, you got to play your cards right.
Correct.
It's like you can have the best song ever, but like you throw it out there with nothing behind it and like no drive, it's just a fart in the wind,
Fart in the wind.
Mm-hmm. It is. There's no content backing it. There's no music video.
That's more important than like a good song right now.
You need to follow it up. I mean, that's essentially what I've discussed on the podcast before. There's the music business and then there's the music, and one has nothing to do with the other. And essentially, it's crazy to think that fans or people who are still trying to figure out like how this industry works, a lot of people know how it works, but you have to have a timeline of release and interviews and content, because also when Phantoms releases music videos, there's definitely like a certain like aesthetic or a vibe or some kind of like very like artistic atmosphere around each release too, and that's what you also have to take into consideration. It's very pleasing. Not only is the song great, like Back Burner, like although that song is fantastic, the visuals of that music video kind of just like makes you want to like watch it through its entirety. You know what I mean?
Oh, awesome!
So,
that's great to hear.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So
that's a lot to say nowadays. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just sit there and like for real, like for over 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Hone in, like watch something for over 2 minutes is a lot now. And that's why it's very important for us. Like visuals are just. That's something we take pride in,
No, I would too. And you've played massive shows like BB&T Amphitheater, and you saw the Fillmore. I mean, I've only had that experience once when we played a show on Warped and the crowd was filled. But dude, how do you get those opportunities as such a, as such a at a prominent, local radio station at 104.5? Like that's pretty incredible to pull. And obviously the music speaks for itself. That's I'm sure most of it, but how do you go about those opportunities if people are like interested in getting on those types of shows?
I mean, honestly, you just have to have good music, and like don't be afraid to like reach out to these people, and like, because nothing's out of reach. It really isn't. Like if you can think it, like you can make it happen. And like, I don't know, I think like that's kind of where it came to. And it's like, people like the music. We got put on the show, and it was like the best ever. And I think we played in front of 15,000 people, right?
Oh yeah, easily.
It's something crazy. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was huge. I think that was our motto, like forever. Just because we had gone through so many people, we're just like, well, I don't get it. I don't understand. And it's just like, I can't categorize this where it's at right now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, man, like if you just stand up and just like hit people up and just like keep pushing, like it's going to happen. People are scared. That people are intimidated by like, radio stations, or just like how we got like the Courtney Ballard thing. It's just like, man, like it's not out of reach. Like if you want it, you go get it. You just have to go.
Just hit them up, see what happens, and like if it's good, people will support it and they will want to work with you.
Yeah, they take into consideration. There's been a couple guests on the show where early on through their industry career, they would DM certain industry professionals, and what do you know? They got back to them, and there's your open door to like start walk in and start getting to work. So it basically can be that simple,
No, it is.
I mean, like we didn't do anything through email, through conversation of booking this. This has all been DM'd, so which honestly is more convenient and makes it easier.
I mean, but that's what it is nowadays. It is, and that's point of contact. And then you just have to go with the motions, and it's ever changing. And like, don't get me wrong. I thought like Instagram was so popping. Like, I don't know. I need to get I need to set my TikTok game up now. And it's just like, you don't know it's going to revert back to Instagram or Facebook, and where to, promote more of your ads into something. It's just like, and that's the thing about this industry is like, there is no right answer because it changes every other week.
I'm waiting for MySpace to come back.
Yeah, that was
cool. Have my top 5 friends with my music. That's just, the poison by a bullet for my Valentine. Like that's up on the profile and shit, dude.
I like that.
Cool.
Oh my God. No, Alyssa, you're right, because I remember one year there's a conference I go out to in Lancaster. It's called Launch Music Conference. Fantastic fucking, opportunity for anybody in the industry, regardless of what your profession is or what you're aspiring to be. It's all relative to the music industry. But I remember one year they were, you sit on these, what do you call them, like panels? Yeah, you sit on these panels, and they're saying like, all right, in order to get on a tour package, you need a good presence on social media. Everybody's like, okay. Literally the next year, they're like, oh, you need good Spotify numbers. Within a matter of a year, your opportunity is completely changed through something like that. So, and is it TikTok now? I mean, there have been a lot of bands that have been blowing up on TikTok.
Very true. It's like every like, I don't know. I feel like every month it's something different, because it's like, oh, you got to work on your Spotify numbers. Oh, you got to work on your TikTok numbers. And it's like, well, what's it going to be next? Like,
right.
Are the days of just being good over though? It's weird.
That is interesting to put into that perspective. I think it's just whatever catches the eye first, because the TikToks I make, it's basically showcasing different types of bands in a genre, making playlists, but they're only getting 5 seconds of a chorus, which is like that's what the catchiest part of 99% of the songs are.
Yeah. Don't bore us, get to the chorus.
Yeah, and if I post something else, it's really hard to wrap them in. And then the algorithm comes into play. Like if the first percent of people that follow you do not engage with it, it does not get pushed to the For You page. It's a whole thing. But yeah, dude,
I didn't even know that.
It's wild. It's wild. Like you got hate for just posting about, John Mayer, and it wasn't really John Mayer. Like that's so dumb. Like it's a joke.
It is, man. It is, because and the thing that cracks me up, man, is just like people's time frames are just getting shorter and shorter when it comes to like engaging. And it's like, if you don't give me something in 15 seconds, And that's a tall order, especially as like a musician nowadays. And it's just like, man, like, and that's like the ultimate thing, right? Isn't that like the Max Martin quote? Is like you have 3 seconds as like an artist to like engage with somebody, and like it's ringing true and truer than ever now. As with how like social media platforms are like strategized and like all that stuff. It's just like it's crazy, and it's how do you make a presence nowadays?
Yeah. It's like the last Rob Zombie record. Every single and every song, I think, was like 2 minutes. That was it. Like he had a song that was like 1minute and 45 seconds, and that was a single. It's like nuts.
Yeah, that is nuts. That's like my friends in Action Adventure. They posted a song on TikTok. It was 1 minute long. It wasn't intentional because that's the longest you can post on there. Now it wasn't intentional. It had a great message, and the music's great in general. Like it was crazy how viral it went, but it just fit perfectly, and then boom, there you go. Like it's just sometimes things work in mysterious ways to really get people to engage, and such a quick response. And TikTok's
everything is
like
so fast paced, man.
It is.
No, it's wild, and if you hop on the train too quick enough, you might miss it. You know what I mean? Like
it's true, and it's just like, man, it's like by the time you hop on the train, sometimes like it might be going the wrong way.
Yeah, that's over. Which is important to always just like, which I feel that we're doing is like, just kind of write music that makes you happy, and like don't chase trends, and like at least the music aspect, like I'm really all about that, because like we've been told numerous times like, oh, you should do this, and you guys need to sound like this, and it's like, nah, dude, like that ain't us. Like let's just be us.
You literally need to create music that makes you first of all, you're enjoying the music that you're creating, and it makes you happy when you play it live, and it means something to you. Like if that doesn't do anything, you just become a shelf life of a band where you do cookie cutter kind of music and generic music and just take riffs from other places, and you have a shelf life. That's basically it,
100%. And like and I've even gone to the extent of just like researching. Like one of the things I was just talking to Adam about like earlier today was just, I'm a very big listener for And the Writer Is by like Ross Golan. And he just interviews like really solid songwriters, in the industry. And it's just like, man, like even the cookie cutter stuff is hard to write,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it's just like, there's a science and a method behind all this stuff. And it's just like, it doesn't make pop music bad.
No.
That it's on the radio, or there really is a method to writing these hit songs, and it's just like you can chase trends, you can do whatever you want, but like pop music is going to be a pop song, and it's so hard to write, man. It's so hard.
Which is
so
like,
hard.
I don't think they're like, I love pop music, and like sometimes you get a lot of like crap for being like, oh, that's like top 40. I can't believe you like that. And it's like,
yeah, it's unbelievable.
Dude, I love that stuff. That makes me feel good. Like,
yeah, dude, it gets the the serotonin flowing. What do you mean? Like, I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, I've obviously I've been an angsty teen and been like, oh well, I don't even listen to the fucking radio. Like anything on the radio is trash. And then fast forward like 15 years later, like me still. The radio. Yeah, and like me still trying to pursue music and like actually appreciating every little aspect that goes behind these songs that actually hit and that are, charted and stuff. And it's just like, man, like for every single person that hates, it's just like, well, if it's easy, then you do it.
Yeah,
because it's not easy. Exactly. It's not easy.
Everybody's a critic. No, I mean,
well, everybody's going to be a critic, especially in growing up in like the rock scene and going to shows, and I've had my fair share of like best friends who like fronted like screamo bands in like the early 2000s, and I was there like, yeah, fuck everybody else, like this is all that matters. And it's like, man, I think everybody kind of gave up. I think a lot of people gave up in that scene, and it's just like, if you want to make it, then just keep going, and like actually pay attention and focus in on like why songs are so great, and like why they're getting charted, and why TikTok is so relevant, and like why social media platforms are like so important. It's bigger than music now, and you kind of have to like fill every single pocket, you know?
And those bands like, or these artists that give up, it's just, sometimes it's really hard to take criticism when you start going to the professionals. Like I remember like our album with Poeta, dude, I was beating myself up so bad because I wasn't taking into consideration what our producer was saying. And I sat down, took a couple breaths. I was like, all right, I want to hear this guy out, and I'm going to follow his lead because he's the professional. Dude, like, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, and some people can't do that, you know? Like, it's cool to, like, you know, fucking show off at, like, certain parts of the song where, like, some sick solo just comes out of nowhere. But if you're doing through the entirety of the song, dude, like, you're not grabbing anybody's ears.
But depending on what you choose to make, you know what I mean? And I think we experimented a lot with the first album, and like that whole entire thing didn't even come out, you know? We didn't write it as a band or whatever, but it's like that came out, me writing over instrumentals, and people just didn't get it.
And like now we kind of tailor everything to like what's going to support Alyssa's voice. Like it's not like guitar parts like so sick. It's like no, like the voice and the melody of that is the most important part. So it's like, as like playing guitar and bass, it's like you have to support the vocal, and like that's super, super important. Like also like super simple drums, like simple parts, but like good parts. And,
right,
you know.
Exactly. I've learned that as well. I mean, it's crazy because everything that you're saying, like, we've been implementing into new music, but like there's also music that's out there like that, especially like sometimes simple is good. It doesn't have to be complicated. Like obviously you have, you know, progressive instrumental bands out there that just shred for like 7 minutes straight, but like,
and which is awesome.
Sure.
That's a
different world. Yeah, 100%.
Exactly. So
100%.
It's great that, you know, we can take into consideration, and like that's why it was so easy to like not only watch your music videos, but sit down and listen to it for like you know, like I can go through your discography very easily because the structure's there. So that's how you really engage on a listener for that. Especially Alyssa, when you're carrying your vocals and such, like that kind of, you want to have that really breathe and give that so much room to any listener. That's
and even I think for writing to that album specifically back when we did in 2015 at Voodoo, it was like, man, I was just writing over instrumentals, man, and it's just, I think I gave too much, and there wasn't enough focus on how can I make this vocal stand out, or how can I make this chorus pop? How can the verse sound more like a verse, or let's take away that, is it too much here? Are the songs too long? Like, and just by working with different people within the last couple of years, and even working with Courtney Ballard, like, you know, since November, it's crazy the amount of work I think we put in subconsciously into writing our own songs, where it's like we know already.
You know, peaks and valleys.
Peaks and valleys,
Peaks and valleys. That's what it is. Like there's dynamic. It's not just like in the mountain the whole way. You're just in that like smooth drive, and then you hit the mountain, which is the chorus, and then you're back down again. Like that's kind of like one thing we really stuck by with these new songs, for sure.
He's definitely going to be, I mean, I would hope that he continues to be your producer.
Man.
You know what I mean?
He's the best. He's such a cool dude.
Yeah. I mean, I was just talking to Adam, and I was like, before we got on this call, I was like, man, we just like can't work with anybody else. Like it was just such a pleasure. It was just an absolute pleasure to work with that guy, man. And just like, I've never felt more comfortable in a studio with anybody else.
100%.
And it was just easy. It was easy.
Oh,
and
I love that for
the
you.
way, and just the way that he records, just like no pressure, man. Like it's just so smooth.
He just gets the band too, which is amazing.
And that was, this is the first time I think we've ever, between management or, you know, different producers we've, you know, worked with over the past few years. This is the first guy who actually like sat down and got it and was just like, oh wow, like, you know, just do this, or you know, like, and it was just so easy. It was just so, and it's just like, wow, like these songs are actually translating the way we want them to for once. You know, and it's that alone was the best feeling as an artist that I'd ever had in my life, you know?
100% agree.
Yeah, it's refreshing. Like it's just it's a breath of fresh air that you're like, oh my god, like I can be comfortable within this studio and such. And a lot of the bands that he's also worked with too, like I can kind of relate to the sound of Phantoms. Like when I first heard Backburn, that was the first song I listened to. I immediately went to Emarosa, Rivals, and Paris. Like it just kind of like a plethora of like that kind of like sound and vibe and such. But dude, and especially when he's worked with bands like Emarosa and such, like it's just I don't know, it all makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it totally makes sense that we would end up working with him. But I think now more or less the next 5 songs that we're planning to come out is just like, man, for once I feel like a structured ass band, dude. Like I feel more connected to this band. And we had talked about it before, like even going to him, or like when what was that, Adam? Like when we first heard Paper Flowers, it's like, man, we should like change the band name, because this is nothing like, you know, you go 3 years and you don't do anything, and everything on social media was taken down. You know, we broke up. Like it was a bad. It was like it ended like a bad relationship. You know, you take pictures of your ex down, and it's just like, and then you take everything down on social media, and ultimately that's what a band is. It's a relationship between a few people.
Yeah, it's a relationship and a business. It really is.
It is all tied in, and I think taking all of that down kind of hurt us for a little while, and that's the thing that we're kind of still dealing with in terms of numbers.
Yeah,
and absolutely. I think when you pull up our Spotify and all that stuff, it's just like, man, like, well, your numbers are low, and we're gonna get that.
Don't worry about that though. You'll pick up the momentum back up. And like that's what happened with Poeta. Like we went on a hiatus, like we never broke up, but we went on hiatus, and like after Warped Tour, like you lose all that momentum. You go from like people listening to you all the time. It's like, it's been 2 years. What the fuck are you heads doing?
Like, dude, we put out one song, and it was Hotel, and literally Republic Records wanted to sign us, and like that was a whole crazy year. Like it was wild.
Yeah.
So in retrospect, between every member that has, you know, written and recorded on this EP that's coming out soon, is there a lot of mutual influences with musicians or artists when it comes to writing Phantom's discography and adding to it?
Oh man,
I mean, we all love the same stuff. Like Alyssa and Mikal, like they will.
Yeah, me and Mikal are just we're more like love R&B. Yeah. Like we love like Kehley, Daniel Caesar, like her, like Caesar, yeah, man. Like we rip stuff like that, and like Mikal is just such a great guitar player too, man. Like I'm just like so lucky to have like such, you know, incredible bandmates. But just our influences kind of vary, and like we're lovers of just music in general. That's awesome. But I don't know about you, Adam, but like I don't know if you like sit on my couch. Mikal loves his like R&B, like acoustic, little like cool like chords, man. He's a chord lover, and Adam loves like, you know, Night Game. Go off, dude. Like, go off. Yeah.
Well, anyway, like you two would sit on my couch, like, and you would literally just watch every like R&B artist and like and you're like, did you ever hear blah blah blah? And I'm like, dude, I don't know what you're talking. Like, did you just make that up?
That's cool.
And like, it's like all great, but it's like I listen to like the Night Game, the Midnight.
Yeah, you're just like, can you just play a British guy with a guitar?
Like I love Oasis, like Liam Gallagher, like my shit,
that's a throwback.
Yeah, like it's like
Sam Fender.
Yeah, Sam Fender. Basically, if you're
Killers,
British, I love you. Like the Killers aren't British.
well,
they
Biffy.
Sound British.
Or no, they sound British.
What are they like?
Biffy Clyro is one of my favorite bands ever.
Yeah, rep it.
I love Catfish and the Bottlemen, like UK band. Don Broco, Def Havana, like
Don Broco. My God, I saw them live. They were opening up for Dance Gavin Dance. Woo!
Nice.
Fucking
do you like it?
Incredible.
Yeah,
they're amazing. I'm gonna pull up. Let's see what the album I really called fire to them.
Dude, I remember going to Front Street Cafe, and I was walking. I was walking across the street, and I saw the singer for Don Broco, and I like kick myself to this day to not like go over and say like, "Yo, dude, what's up?" Like, I'm like, wow, it's like this guy's real, and like he's in Philly. This is like wild, man.
That is wild. Oh, dude, that's so crazy. Yeah, that was the show. It was at the Franklin Music Hall. Rest in peace, Electric Factory. I can't stand that, man.
That's the one place in Philly we haven't played.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. So TLA, Milk Boy.
I think I've done.
No, we didn't do TLA.
Yeah, we didn't do TLA.
We did Milk Boy. We did Fillmore. We did Ortley's. Everywhere.
We did Union Transfer, BB&T. Technically not. Philly.
Underground Arts.
Yeah.
Oh, I've never been to Underground Arts, but I heard it's rough.
I liked it. I thought it was
really? Yeah, I thought it was sweet. Yeah, it was cool.
It's got a nice grunge like vibe to it and shit.
It's sick. It's sick. I like it.
Yeah, Technology was the recent album that came out, which was pretty good. That was with they were touring on that album, but Automatic like really sucked me in, dude.
Automatic is my shit.
Yo, that's your shit, dude.
It is. It's a game changer.
Like, yo, Don Broco is Adam's shit.
I know. I love it. I was playing him in the car with my girlfriend the other day, and she was like, "What is this?" Like, and I'm like, "Oh, it's like Don Broco." She's like, "Turn it off." And I'm like,
no. I was gonna say, hopefully you were gonna say like, this is what having sex like through an audio perspective is like. Just listening to Don Broco.
I know. I threw her under the bus, and I'm sorry.
Sarah's cool.
Damn, that's wild. Yeah, that was a good show. I'm losing track because, like, you know, for some reason, Alyssa, I kind of get like a little folk vibes in your vocals. I don't know why.
Do you?
Yeah, just a little bit. Like, it's nothing prominent, but I definitely
that's cool,
like
man.
hear that. I think
I've heard like somebody had given me like a Fiona Apple reference before, and I was like, "Whoa, like that's different." Like I'd never gotten that before. People always say like Pink a lot of
that
Pink.
makes sense. Okay, that makes sense.
That's cool with me, man. Like,
yeah, you have a massive range. I think that's why I kind of like heard it like slightly. I don't know, but your range is definitely there.
I have so I grew up on like, you know, obviously the Now from Now, that's music from 1 to I don't know however many it is now.
409.
Like, all the pop hits, you know, and I always sung along to Monica, Brandy, Pink, and then the list goes on, you know.
Yeah.
Aaliyah,
Stefani, maybe.
Gwen Stefani. You know, female vocalists, but I also sung along to like male vocalists. Like I grew up on Boyz II Men. I also grew up on Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, like, you know, and so the list goes on for me. But I think ultimately what it comes down to is I watched a lot of music change in my life, and I was always scared to sing. I don't think I ever took myself serious enough as a singer up until, you know, the late 2000s when all my friends were playing in bands, and I watched my friends sing, and I was like, man, I'm better. Am I better? I came to this like point where I'm just like, I could do that. I think I could do that. I did talent shows, and I was like 5th grade, like singing Destiny's Child. Like I'm sure I could like front a band, like, and that's cool. And then it took me to hear like Johnny Craig as a singer who was like fronting a rock band. So for me at that time, what I was listening to was like screamo bands and like all these things that were like very relevant in my scene at the time. But I had this heart for this music. And it took this guy to kind of like, I was like, holy shit, like it just like merged for me. And it like clicked in my head, and I'm like, this could work. And it took that guy for me to realize that like I could front a band. Honestly.
That's awesome. Yeah, as a
isn't that crazy?
He revolutionized the vocals.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, he really did it. I mean, he's a shitty person, but
aside
from his fantastic fucking
oh yeah, man. I still like
people still
you know,
I listen to him from time to time.
And I think that he gets a lot of hate, but I think a lot of people get hate in this industry, but for what he did for me as a vocalist, you know, if I never heard him, I wouldn't be singing the way I'm singing. I don't think I would ever had the balls to like join a band, you know, and especially as heavy as it was, because when I first started singing, I joined a band that was heavy, and I almost blowing my voice out every night that we played a show.
No.
You know? And just like, because I wanted to sing as hard as him, because I didn't want to be a female vocalist. I wanted to be better than every female, and I wanted to be better than every male in that genre. So I was doing double the work, you know?
I mean, you're definitely doing it. Like, your vocals are phenomenal, so that's a good inspiration, you know?
But what I've learned over the years is just like, I don't have to do all that, you know? And it's just like, you don't have to scream until your voice is gone. Just, you have to master the presence of the vocal and like where it matches the guitars and where, 100%. And less is more. Less is more. And that's the quote that Adam and I always just say on repeat. Less is more for everything.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, it's very true, especially when you're bringing out the fullness of that specific song or that specific part. That's what.
Sure.
Yeah, dude, you guys are nailing it on the head.
Now it's like we just want to like be like Walk the Moon and like Neon Trees.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Let's go. I love
that
shit.
Like,
it's cool.
That's like equally as a band, we all agree. Like Walk the Moon, Neon Trees, like that's the vibe. Like, love it.
But also, like, I love like After Laughter, Paramore. Like, you know, I talk with like Powell all the time, the other guitar player, and like, you know, we have this like love for just rock bands that make their presence on like, you know, Billboard or whatever the case may be, on radio. And if this is what rock music is now, like, and I'm not saying I'm changing my sound just to get on the radio, but it's just like, man, I really do love this shit.
Right.
I really, really do. And I really do. And I've fallen deeper in love with it the more I listen to it. And it's just like, you know, the shit is hard. It is hard. But the end result is just like, I don't do it to impress anybody or whatever. It's just like, I've grown so deep in love with this radio, pop, rock, whatever. And it's just like, man, and just to see the numbers and people really, really love it and like smile.
Yeah.
They like smile when like they hear the song, and it's just like that undeniable. I can put it in front of your grandma.
Yeah.
Or
and like that's the ultimate joy, you know, because I've been in bands where like I played music and people are like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I can't understand a thing you're saying.
Yeah.
And I remember every word that people say to me, you know?
Yep.
I still do, and I critique myself so much. And I do, but I've learned from it. And it's like, it only made me a better singer. It only made me a better writer, you know? So it's like that's what makes music great is people listen to it and they give you feedback. And as an artist, I think you can go, well, fuck them. I'm going to do what I want. And I feel this is going to work because we believe in it. Or you can say, I understand how you feel, and I appreciate that. And it's like subconsciously you bury that, and it's like, man, it really does pay off sometimes to say, I can't understand your singer. Well, every single time I go in a studio, I work on pronunciation now. And like, I don't do it because people fucking keep saying it, and you're like, whoa, it'd be a better fucking song if I could. No, but like, I take every little critique and I try to make it better, and not just doing it for the listener because it pays off for me as an artist. Ultimately,
it could save a lot of wear and tear on your vocal cords. It can save.
It saves a
like
oh my god,
yeah,
dude.
the exhaustion.
Oh my god,
I'm not a vocalist, so I wouldn't know. You know what I mean? So I just hit drums.
But it makes me feel good, and it's almost like, yo, I should be proud to sing these words.
Fuck yeah,
I should be proud. And I want people to sing them back.
I was gonna say, wait until they sing them back. You know, that's gonna be a
man,
wild situation.
Dude, when I think we played like Voltage Lounge, there was a bunch of people singing like the words for Hotel.
Nice.
Like, and I was like, wow, like I've never experienced that in my like, dude. I want to cry right now. Like that's so incredible. Because like incredible. I don't even understand the shit that I'm fucking singing. So,
at least that.
Like, yo, people like. Yeah, like and that's what music is all about. It's just like, you know, people want to relate to it, and like they want to fucking hear your words. They want they want a story, man.
I'm just so proud of this new stuff. Like How did you feel, George, like from Paper Flowers to like the old stuff? Let's put you on the spot for a minute there.
Oh.
I definitely have more of a warm, atmospheric, brighter tone and brighter structure within the songs in itself. Because some of the older discography, like, you know, Backburner, I keep going back to that has a little grit to it. That's got a little like in your face rock and roll stuff, and that's like my type of vibe. With Paper Flowers, I think it's really intricate. Like I love it. It's a beautiful song. Like it's more so on the prettier sounding side than it is with some of your other stuff too. I mean, you have the acoustic song, which is really cool too. But you know, this is definitely different for sure. I think it's incredible. I'm kind of like I'm gonna go like, you know, kind of go back a little bit in conversation because.
We can talk.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just want to put something out there. I just want to see what you guys would think, more specifically Alyssa. But I did recently have Matt McAndrew from Slaves on. He is, you know, replacing Johnny Craig for Slaves. They're changing their name. It's great. He was more prominently known when he was actually on The Voice.
The Voice,
and did that, and I think he was like runner up or something like that, which is pretty cool.
He did super well on that.
Yeah, he did super well. Have you ever thought or taken into consideration of doing those shows?
Fuck no.
No.
Fuck no.
What are you our old manager from 2015?
And I'm gonna explain why. I think there's a lot of pressure when it comes to being like, and I don't consider myself the greatest, and I don't, you know, I'm just super hard on myself, but I don't think I could sit in front of like national television and like sing somebody else's songs for like X amount of months. And like, by all means, like that'll get you like a following, whatever. And like, there's absolutely no hate, but before we got on this call, I'd mentioned, if you ever listened to the Ross Golan podcast with Linda Perry, but she had talked about, you know, The Voice and like why she disagrees with like American Idol, and like there's so many things against like artists like authenticity, because it's like you're bred to know how to sing this certain way and like what makes a pop vocal, and you know, you're just recreating at this point, and it's just like, yo, where's your voice for a show that says The Voice, you know?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Dave Grohl said it at best. He, you know, I don't know his quote, but I'm going to paraphrase him, but he does not like those shows. I think it kind of devalues sometimes, depending on the vocalist and like how they go about the show, but those shows just, they ream them in like it's a fucking
well, it is, like, and it's all fucking set up to.
It's all set up.
It's all set up, and it's more about someone's story than it is an actual singer. Correct. And if you ever heard of the producer Rick Beato, he goes over it with a bunch of people on his side, and like, you know, a bunch of educated like musicians who have like been through the ringer, and you know. One of the podcasts was just like why we bash American Idol and like why this is bad for like artists and music in general. And essentially what they say is just like, you know, when you go on these shows as a viewer, you don't realize what's going on behind the scenes. And they had said, you know, in the interview, I know people that are just such great musicians that don't miss a lick, and they go on that show, and they had said my in-ears were fucking funky that night, and like they don't miss a lick in general in the studio. The great vocalists, and they say like I felt like I couldn't hear the piano enough, and it's just like, are you setting me the fuck up? Like,
exactly.
You know, for television, it's like, are you having a bad night? And as a viewer, you're like, oh, that fucking guy sucks. That guy's having, but you don't think of it as like a human fucking being, and like vocalists have bad nights. You know, we cancel tours. Like, there's nights that we can't perform just as well, and it's like you can't be perfect all the time. You know, and that's what we're bred to believe.
I'm not, no names, but I know people that have gone on there, and they're like, okay, so like we found you, and we know you're going to be moved to the next round, and like, you know, it's all set up. Like they're like, before they even get there, they know they're going to Hollywood, and it's like, you know. And then I've also had friends that were really good, and they were like, yeah, but your story's not interesting enough. And it's like, dude, it's all fake. It's a TV show. It's not like they know who wins.
Well, I mean, they're trying to get numbers too. You know?
Yeah, it's the same thing with like Ink Master. Like I have a fuck ton of friends that have been on there. They know who won that show before they even signed up.
Correct.
Like,
exactly.
It's television.
It is television. It's a completely different industry, and there's a lot of things to take into perspective. But I agree with Alyssa 100% on the authenticity. There's none of that there. And then
and it's like, what do you do? Get a record contract? No.
Yeah, but like those record contracts
they set you up with somebody who's writing your songs. It's not. No, you know who they fucking threw Kelly Clarkson in with? Goddamn Max Martin.
Jesus Christ.
Who's a goddamn genius.
Yeah.
Look it up.
Yeah, that's
Since
wild.
you've been gone. Yeah. Who wrote it? And if I told my mom Kelly Clarkson didn't write I just told her this the other night. Kelly Clarkson did not write Since You've Been Gone.
Right.
She was like, what?
Wait, what?
Yeah, people don't understand.
And I'm not, but this is just, I'm not talking shit on like the rest of the world, but it's just like being in this industry, you know that everything is fucking fake, you know?
Mm-hmm. There's ghostwriters for reasons.
So now on Spotify, I'm just like, oh, let's go look at like the artist like credits. Like that's the best thing, because it's like, click on a Beyonce song and see how many people were in the room when they wrote a song. And it's like, it's not easy. It takes a team of people to write these bangers, man.
Perfect example.
You know?
My producer did Golden Fields. He's out in Cali right now. Bruce. Congratulations to him. He just released Electric by Katy Perry. Like, he was a huge part of that song, you know?
Yeah.
The 25-year Pokemon anniversary. But, like, although they get credit, like, people don't understand, like, it sometimes it takes a team like that to do that.
It's always a team, man. It's always a team.
Wait, was Bruce in, like, an acoustic duo or something in Philly?
The Weekend Riot. Yeah.
Yeah, I know him.
I love them.
Funny story, the first Phantoms practice was without Alyssa, because she wasn't in the band at the time, because it was this other singer. We did it at Bruce's studio.
No way! That's where we recorded our album. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Small world. Yeah, he's up in his parents moved now, and he's in California, but it was like in the Newtown area for sure.
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah.
I love that guy.
Cal was there.
That's the professional I was talking about, where he like kind of sat me down and was like, dude, if you want this to be a really good album, I'm going to need you to listen to me. I'm like, you got it.
Yeah.
I won't be a stubborn prick.
Man.
You know what I mean? He knows what he's talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's a good fucking dude. Yeah, I was just curious. I mean, no, like I'm not your manager from 2015. No. I don't. That is the most common way for managers to sell you out.
You're already doing a better job, so you're already doing a better job.
Oh, we've had nightmares with managers too. I know how that's like, but I know, especially when you do something to take credit for it. I'm like, excuse me, no, I signed us up for Warped Tour, dude. Like, don't be saying that shit.
It's like, dude, I take all the photos. I do like all the graphics. I direct the videos. Like,
do you really?
But yeah.
That's incredible.
That's all Adam, man.
Jesus Christ, man of all hats. That's I thoroughly, I appreciate that part of it, like the art, because that's the not easy stuff.
But it is. It's so important, you know.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah,
it's
like
so important.
I have a BFA from like Westchester University in PA, so that's like kind of where I get it all from.
Fuck yeah, no, that's awesome. There's a lot of DIY bands that like it's gonna get expensive when you see some of their graphics, but then when I appreciate it more when like I find out that it's in house, because it's like you don't see a lot of that anymore. You know what I mean? Like my intro is made for my friend Cliff, like that's fine, like that's a one-time thing, but I can't do those graphics. I can do the simple stuff, you know what I mean? But
it's like we got to spend the money on the studio.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's
to
true.
put that out there.
It's true.
Like that stuff matters to me more. Like just going to somebody like that's just such a professional, and like, you know, it just really does make a world of difference.
Yep. No, it really does. Now that the EP is completely done and it's set in stone and it's there, and I've already heard one song off of it, essentially, we're assuming the world is going to be opening up in fall of 2021.
Let's hope so.
That's what it's looking towards to be. And I think if it's fair to say that everybody gets a fair, equal opportunity to get the vaccine, like, then we can open up the world, because there's going to be half this country in America.
Yeah, man, it's getting ready.
Yeah, so I mean, tours are being set, festivals are being played. There's some shows going on right now. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm a little skeptical about that.
I know. Well, we don't play out. I mean, like, even with the cover stuff, like, I would never take the opportunity to do it, because it's just not worth. It's not worth somebody else's health or like life for me to. Put myself.
I want to make sure everything's like safe, and like it's gonna be worth it, and like, you know, no one's gonna get sick. Like, that's a whole other thing, you know?
Yeah. And we also have like all these songs are new. So everything's going to take a slow build. And like, we had just finished and now the world's opening up.
Yeah,
so like we have this time to kind of like perfect the video that's in like, you know, a couple of weeks. And then there's so many follow-ups and everybody who's been like itching and ready to get on shows, who kind of has more of, you know, they kind of have more of like a buzz than we do. Like, let them run their course. And when shows are completely ready to open up and be safe and whatever, like, we're out. Like, we're very, very, very much ready. And I'd love to play out in LA. Like, I'm sure Adam would love to come back to PA, like, you know, and New York. And I can't wait for people to hear Paper Flowers. And like, you know, it's going to feel whole again for once, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome. I was thinking like maybe, hopefully by that time, Phantoms would be on the road. I don't know what.
Hey, I would love that.
I would love that. Yeah, I would love that too.
Have you toured like more than like a month at a time?
We've actually never toured as this band. So
okay, for sure. You just play really, really big shows that sell out. That's fucking awesome.
Play really big shows with like 15,000 people. That's about it.
Yeah, that's it, dude. You know, shoulder to shoulder on the lawn, no big deal.
I love the one-offs. Like, I've done like the serious like Alt Nation tour, like in a different band before, that I was just like the live guy, and like that was freaking awesome. But like, I can't wait till it's like Phantoms gets that chance, you know, like, and you know, we'll have like the month-long tour that's like for Alt Nation, and like I think it's definitely possible, and it's definitely going to happen. I believe it. Like, it's just like you can think it's going to happen. So, and like, we always think big picture, never small picture. Like, I already know a bunch of places like we're going to play in LA. Like, I can't wait for that moment.
Yeah.
100%. Like, Chain Reaction, thank God that venue is still running. I was worried we were going to lose that one.
Right.
We almost lost Voltage Lounge too.
The Troubadour, man. I was real scared about the Troubadour.
Yeah, it was. Now that we're trying to see some kind of normalcy again, maybe things will go back to normal. We'll see. Maybe there are talks of people that are having the idea that maybe there will be more venues than ever now, because when the world opens back up, I don't know. It's just there's just so much theory, and I don't know. I don't want to get too deep.
Man, and I hope they are. You know, I really, really hope that happens. And I think when it does open back up, I think people are gonna be, you know, in that period of holy shit, man, I miss this fucking so much. And then you're gonna like see like a rise for, you know, it's just like opening up a new social media platform, and like people are all over it, and then it's just like fizzles out, and like it's back to normal, and like everything's lit, and then you have to like really start grinding again. But I think for the most part, I think the next few years, I especially for bands and live shows, I think this is gonna be peak for us, you know, and it couldn't have happened like recording with Courtney, like, you know, and starting this band back up, and unfortunately everything that had happened, but holy shit, man, we're gonna come back with a bang.
Yeah,
you know, and a lot of bands are.
100%.
And a lot of bands are, sure.
Yeah. I thank you for both of you stopping by. This was incredible.
Oh yeah.
Thank you so much, man.
The music is incredible, and I can't wait for this EP. You know, I can flex that I already listened to Paper Flowers, you know, 4 or 5 times in an hour before I start talking to you two. So you know what I mean. Now I'm just gonna sign off on this, play it, and kind of just, you know, just show off a bit. I don't know.
I'll send you the other song too.
Get the fuck out of here. That's cool, dude. But yeah, thank you again. Hopefully, when I'm fully vaccinated, I'll come hang in Philly. We'll have a couple drinks and such.
Oh, hell yeah, man. Come hang out with us. Me, you know.
Julia. We'll hang out. We'll all chill.
Yeah, Julia. Dude, again, while I'm on air, dude, thank you again, Julia.